Day to remember. You're welcome. And, no thank you. Depending on the tracks. Well, from what I can gather in telling you, this album just, yeah. Brick Wall was fine. Brick Wall was I personally didn't mind as the opening for this. I was worried the moment I saw it as an opener, and I forgot Mind Reader was one of the singles they had prior to Brick Wall, but it's pretty much that. I don't know what the heck Bloodsucker was, but Last Chance to Dance, Bad Friend is probably, unfortunately, in the case of this album, the best track kind of on the record, or at least the one I feel like wanting to come back to without it bothering me, I guess, in a certain way. Like, the thing about this record is, I didn't hate resent. When it came to the heavier part, how they handled themselves on the heavier side, I felt they did fine. But when it came to just trying to go they just were pop punk and they just kind of forgot to be punk, I guess, a little bit. But or if they were, it was more against the grain of what some people think punk is, or at least in the sense of punk and punk rock, I guess, in that case. But yeah, this. I wish that I could say this out. I wanted to. I kind of knew going in it wasn't going to be great, and it would have possibly already be considered their worst. But I was. But the thing about this record, I think Reentry is definitely considered a kind of one of the other ones, even though it's kind of the shortest track by like a second in comparison to Mind Reader. But I didn't mind Everything We Need at the time I had heard it, but before this album had come out. But eh. I mean, I guess Only Money has something to it, but I'm a little leery with that one. And I don't remember Degenerates having any heavy moments in it from when I first heard the song, personally. But apparently there was some on this version on the album, I guess. I don't know. But I didn't. I mean, Resentment I didn't mind, though I do understand the Magic Dragons core. All I can say is that I'd probably rather go, unfortunately in this case for them, I'd rather go back to listen to the Architects album than this. And I know they've got better albums, I can just go back to those, but I felt like there was a chance they could have, like, I know what they're trying to do with this record, and it's not working as well, and it probably could have if they had better writing. I have a feeling that what they may do is they could wind up next record probably doing some weird thing. They could either go completely back to what they had been doing, completely, or they're going to wind up trying to backtrack a little bit more to Bad Vibrations and then kind of seep in some of these elements, just not do too much of it. But it all depends on how the writing goes. As long as they write the songs that are good and make sense for even them, then I think it's going to be okay. I'm just hoping that I don't want You're Welcome to be the Todd in the Shadow situation for them, you know? Or at least I don't want the record they'll do next to follow this. I mean, the problem this record really had is just the fact they chose to delay this record as long as it was instead of just releasing it. When they should have, knowing what we knew this was, or they just weren't able to finish it enough and there just was a sense of production. I wish I would know more details that they could possibly give us that could show, yeah, maybe, like, I think some songs they wanted it to mean more. I think Everything We Need, I feel like they kind of wanted it to mean more than what it comes across as. So, but I mean, if this is the worst thing they do, then I'm okay with that, I guess. Because I wouldn't say it's in this, because I get similar. I feel like the band is in a similar situation to a certain other group that's name escapes me, that kind of had this weird hybrid between the more, that wound up kind of doing a djenty R&B thing, even though they were essentially R&B meets metalcore, or like metallic post-hardcore essentially, but and with some djenty tendencies, I guess. But why can't I think of the name of the band? Issues, that's what it is. But yeah, and Issues did their thing, even though that what's happening with Tyler Carter, and that's another thing. There was an issue with one of the band members that got like either Me Too'd or nearly dealing with cancel culture situation. On top of delaying this album for multiple reasons, this album just was kind of doomed from the start, and it was just the delays for this record just delayed it inevitable. And no matter what they were going to release, for a supposed single, it wasn't going to be enough. Though you had Bad Friend in your pocket, and you could have used that instead, and maybe we might have been like, oh, okay. Or at least we might not have felt as bad about it, whatever you were going to do with this album. But if people were still going to react, or you were hoping to hold that off so that they had something good out of your back pocket when they went into this record, and that's what it was. But with that, and Re-Entry, I guess, seemed to have some decent lyricism, I guess. I didn't mind Brick Wall. I understood why I think they picked it at the time that they did. Lyrically, there's something about it that's kind of meant to come across in feeling of what we've all been feeling around the time of late 2020 with the quarantine situation and what was going on by the point of the election and everything. So that's why I kind of was able to connect to it a little bit more, maybe, and it didn't sound like ass to me in ways, or at least in a way that didn't make me scratch my head, and yet everyone else was, which I didn't understand, given what we were getting before. Even though I didn't mind Resentment, but I had a feeling what we were going to get the moment I heard the recent, because Jeremy McKinnon is essentially produces a lot of other metal groups. The fact that it wasn't as, I'm thinking of the one band that had an album last year that wasn't too bad, that he produced on that one. The Wage War I think he also had one last year or the year before. But I think it was in 2019, and that one kind of hinted at what we were going to get here, and yeah, it happened, but overall, I didn't mind the record, but I'm not planning, aside from the tracks I've mentioned, I don't feel like it's worth coming back to as a whole record. Unless for some reason I want to see if it found a way to grow on me, maybe. If anything at all. But I don't expect it to. I don't think this album is I don't hate this record. I don't like it. Or at least, I don't like it in a sense of what I was saying about the Architects record. Like I said, it's a shame that they had to come out after that and, be released on a day another band came who had a much longer wait time period and didn't rely on having delays and stuff and had a lot more other stuff going on that wasn't nearly as problematic, I guess, in the cases of what happened with A Day to Remember. Had released another album, and I'm going to get to that, and that will probably be up around the same time as this review. So by the time you're probably watching this shortly, so. But yeah, overall, you're welcome, but no thanks. It's just mixed bag for me. It's, I guess you could say, but not a full-on thumbs down, but more just, I'm kind of more teetering like this a little bit with it, so. But it's not leading as firmly into the positive as I would have said about the Architects record. So what did you guys think? Leave a comment below. Let me know. As always, guys, keep it random, keep it real, keep it rocking. See you in the next video. Maybe I need to just go back and listen to some Homesick and Common Courtesy. I don't know. Hell, I'll probably listen to Bad Vibrations. That one's a grower, for sure. But Anyways, and I think like they need to bring some of that back into their repertoire. But anyways, that's it. Take care, y'all. Oh, and if you like this video, rock that like button with thrust if you must. Links in the description to both stereo and Facebook pages. Like and follow me there. Or just follow in some cases. But yeah. Again, keep it real, keep it real, and take care, y'all.